Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Land of confusion. Do any of you not get what's happening? I know you go to your respective partisan corners, especially at this time of night. Tell me why I'm right to hate him. Tell me why I'm right to love him. Does anybody really need to tell you anything? There he is, hair blown majestically, reshooting the scene for his own ad. I hold rallies, and I tell you to ignore masks, and I rip mine off as I vanquish the virus because I am a leader. Fear not, COVID. What a bunch of bullshit.
That's a person who get paid millions of dollars. Just want to let you guys know that. That is a person that get paid tons of dollar bills, yo. Do you guys get that? Do you understand that? That's what he... what a bunch of... Are you kidding me? The insanity yesterday. Producer Anthony and I were talking about this. What was more entertaining? What was more of a big deal? Trump taking the mask off around nobody, or the way the media reacts? I'm just curious. Standing there, majestic, hair blowing in the wind. Painting the picture. Yes, the lighting is perfect. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. It was nuts. Oh, kids, we're just getting started, so buckle in here.
This is a Mussolini moment.
Mussolini?
Donald Trump, who looks like he has makeup on, which means somebody had to get close enough to make up his face with his favorite orange patina. He's standing there as if he is, a member of the old Russian Tsar family. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I guess it's his sort of discount Bolsonaro Nira.
Aren't we best? Aren't we better than everybody? Joy Reid. The insanity of it all yesterday. First of all, I've been on Trump, and I got a bunch of people yesterday blowing back at me. I can't believe how hard you're on Trump. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? If you voted for Trump, you should be able to be critical of Trump. The way I look at politics is, you're giving your friend a job, right? Your friend comes to you, it's like, hey, dude, can you get me a job at your place? You're like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I really trust you, right? Don't screw up, man, because my reputation's, right? Don't screw this up. And the other person over there, he's like, hey, can you get me a job? Well, there's only one job, so it's going to be between you two. But whatever you do, don't screw it up. And so what happens? You get your friend the job, and every once in a while they screw it up. I mean, they do okay, but then you're always worried, is that person going to get fired and they're going to blame it on me? They're going to hold it against me, which is what we do now. So if your person gets hired, i.e. the president or whatever it is that you vote for, depending on the time of the year, people hold you responsible for their stuff. And that's why we fight with each other so much. Because if you voted for Trump because you wanted to see the Apple Cart upended and you wanted to see this thing actually get a shot in the pants, if you will, that it deserves in D.C., hey. But everybody holds you responsible. And whatever sins that he commits, you're going to get blamed for it. And whatever thing he does good, they'll ignore. And vice versa. Yesterday was embarrassing. First of all, yeah, you know what? I will criticize Trump because I think we have every right as Americans to criticize. And if you refuse to criticize somebody that you voted for, and I didn't vote for Trump. Now I didn't vote for Hillary. But if you refuse to vote to say, I can criticize this person, everything he is doing, I agree with, that you are not honest with yourself. You're a sycophant. But I'm going to criticize the hell out of the media because the insanity in the way that they handle things is nuts. They lost the plot yesterday. Mussolini? Are you kidding me? But this takes the cake right here. So Trump tweets out, feels 20 years younger. I'm beating this thing. You don't need to worry about COVID. You don't need to be afraid of COVID. Don't worry, though. The media is going to come back and tell you have every right to be afraid, and you should be terrified.
President Trump wrote on Twitter, "Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life."
Speaking of outrageous, this outrageous tweet.
When I saw that Trump, I literally was overwhelmed.
And now we see this tweet, which is heartless. It is cruel.
This is so disrespectful. I'm not even sure I can speak about this. What does that mean, don't be afraid of it? It's gross.
It's just so horrible, so destructive.
The president says it's no big deal. It's outrageous.
It is insulting to every American who wears a mask. It's disgraceful. It's absurd.
Everyone should be afraid of COVID.
It's okay to be afraid of COVID.
Are you nuts? Look, if we dive deep into this thing, and I explain this, look, this is a very real thing. This is very real. No doubt in my mind, 110%. I have never poo-pooed it. In fact, I will go on the record over and over again. In December of last year, we started talking about this long before anybody else did. I said, there's stuff going on in China that we need to be watching. And we talked about it. And I said, it's in Europe now. We talked about it, and then it got on our shores. And I said, we need to pay attention to this thing because this thing is ugly and nasty. But we can't live in fear. That's the emotion they're pushing on you. Live in fear. That's the emotion they're pushing on you. This thing is as bad as anything in the world that you will ever see. Live in fear. BS. BS. Absolute BS. 110%. Be cautious. We all take calculated risk. If you are a person who is struggling with some issues, obesity, diabetes, elderly, compromised immune system, you're going to be cautious with everything. Are you not? Aren't you supposed to? Of course you are. Jeez. This thing casts a wider net than the flu. We don't have any therapeutics like we do with the flu, Tamiflu. We don't have a vaccine. We're going to get there sooner rather than later. If you look at the numbers and you break them down, is it a little bit more deadly than the flu? Yes. And because of the size of net that it cast, meaning it's going to catch more, therefore there's going to be more fatalities, there's going to be more deaths. But you listen to that. Listen to this again. Listen to them tell you, oh, you've got every right. I can't even acknowledge that he did that. Oh, my God.
President Trump wrote on Twitter, "Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life."
Speaking of outrageous, this outrageous tweet.
When I saw that Trump, I literally was overwhelmed.
And now we see this tweet, which is heartless. It is cruel.
This is so disrespectful. I'm not even sure I can speak about this. What does that mean, don't be afraid of it? It's gross.
It's just so horrible, so destructive.
The president says it's no big deal. It's outrageous.
It is insulting to every American who wears a mask. It's disgraceful. It's absurd.
Everyone should be afraid of COVID.
It's okay to be afraid of COVID.
Be cautious. It's that simple. Be cautious. Understand, hey, I'm going to go over here. It's a room. It's going to be a bunch of people. I'm going to wear a mask, or maybe I'll decide I'm not going to go in there unless it's absolutely necessary. Okay. Be cautious. Be wary. That's it. Be afraid? Be afraid? Are you blanking kidding me? Be afraid. Live your life. At this point in time, we need to learn how to live with it, through it, and around it. We are watching people's lives, not only the health side of it, but the financial side of it. We're watching their lives crumble. We need to take back. What we've allowed to happen is we've allowed the media and this virus to take over common sense and the reality of us. I'm a grown-up. I will accept the risk that I wear a mask where I need to wear a mask. When I'm alone, I'm alone. I'm not going to wear a mask. If I go places, I wear a mask. I social distance, but that naturally I'm a social distancer. I just want to let you guys know that. It's not a real big stretch for me to social distance. Like, my life is very simple. But cautious when need to be. By the way, during flu season, I'm pretty cautious as well because I don't want to get the flu. And if anybody's got the stomach flu, oh, good God. I won't even be in the same room with you. I don't do the stomach flu. It's just one thing I don't do. I hate it. There's nothing wrong with a little common sense. But the fear thing, oh, dude, you're barking up the wrong hair. barking up the wrong tree. And we're just getting started. The insanity of it all. Yeah, you know what? I can criticize Trump. The stunt the day before was asinine and stupid. Last night, not putting your mask on when you went back into a room full of people, that is silly. But be afraid? My God. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Rough Greens went home last night, my dog Doodle. People ask me all the time, hey, is that really your dog Doodle? It is. You can go onto roughgreens.com, right? And you go there, /Chad, you're going to see my dog Doodle. I've had Doodle for 4 years almost, 3.5 years. When we got him, we thought he was going to be like, he was supposed to be 6, and he wasn't 6. He was like 8 or 9. He was much older, and he had all kinds of issues with his hips, arthritis, fatty tumors, and we didn't know what to do. So we started giving him Rough Greens after we tried everything. We were at the point where we thought we might have to put him to sleep because he was just in so much pain. About 7 months into this, he's living a life that you cannot believe. He's bouncy, he's happy. We've got 2 puppies, and he dominates and runs around them. And I love, love, love that. What Rough Greens does is supplements, not dog food. You just put it on your dog's food. And they love the taste of it. And I've even given it to my big lizard, Winston. I've sprinkled it on his stuff, and he'll eat, it's very interesting. And he eats it. And you know what? But for Doodle, it's changed his life. It's got vitamins, minerals, vegetables. It's got all the stuff your dog's food doesn't have, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, and it's changed his life. It's $14.95 for a jump start. It's a 2-week jump start, less than $15. See what it can do for you. See what it can do for your dog. I'm telling you, whether your dog's young or old, it will do wonders. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MY-DOG-88, 833-MY-DOG-88. Rough Greens, we make any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Serving up talk radio medium rare and dripping with irony. It's Chad Benson.
I heard you mention this idea of a national mandate.
Yes.
You've mentioned that before for masks, but what power does a president have to make that happen?
I would call all the governors to the White House. Some probably wouldn't come. And I'd call the governors and I'd say to the mayors as well as the county executives, take responsibility. Take responsibility and lay out the guidelines. Look, folks, one of the problems is this president said, I take no responsibility. Well, if it's not his responsibility, he talked about this being like a time of war.
Okay, well, first let's just back that up. Do you remember at the beginning of all this when Fauci and Dr. Birx laid out this plan on how you could reopen your states again, and they went through the thing. If your positivity rate is X, and then over a 14-day period, then you can go into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then. But at the end of the day, we have states' rights. Right? He even said it. So I've always asked this. What do you think that he's going to do that's different than Trump? Outside of the empathy thing. Well, what can you do? Well, I really can't do anything. I could tell the governors, but some of them may not show up. Look, Trump, on the face of it at times, has completely misplayed this thing. He has flubbed his lines, and I will tell you that over and over again, and he deserves criticism for that. For a lot of this, though, I look at the governors. Depends on where you are, right? Whether it's Brown, whether it's Newsom, whether it's Ducey, whether it's de Blasio, Murphy, Abbott, DeSantis. You can go down the line. You can start checking all the boxes. At the end of the day, your state is going to be in control of what's going on because that's part of the state's rights. Yes, he'll show more empathy. It'll say, well, listen to the science. Okay, you listen to the science. So are you going to go in and the science says, Fauci says, shut everything down? Well, I don't really have the power, because that's I'm going to tell states the states' rights. Every governor has had their opportunity. Some have done better than others. Some, by the grace of God or the fact that this thing is mutated, have gotten different forms of the viruses that haven't been as deadly. Some have just absolutely jacked the pooch. Absolutely listen to the science, 110%. But at the end of the day, if I lay something out and I say, look, here's the 3 phases you guys need to do this to get to. We had that big thing that day at the beginning of this thing. It's like March, April. And everybody's talking about the phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 and how you get there. And this is what you have to do. And these are the state guidelines. And this is what the CDC is recommending. And here's Fauci and here's Birx. And they're going through all this thing and they're painting the pictures. And there's diagrams. And people have pointer sticks. And they're pointing all over the place. And then the governors go, okay, cool. So I'm out here in Phoenix, right? And what did Governor Ducey do? He jumped to phase 9. All right, everything's open. Nobody has to wear a mask. No social distancing. Well, some places, yes, but some places, no. You got counties handling it different, right? Certain counties handle it different than the other county. You have all of these things going on. It's nuts. It is. So you can say, I have a mandate, but right there, Lester Holt's like, well, what can you do? Well, I can't, but I can call everybody here. Some people may not show up. And if they do, I'm going to tell them this, and I'm going to implore with them. It shows you, though, the politics. At least he was honest with that. At least he was absolutely honest. And remember when Trump, and again, he's lost the plot. He's flubbed his lines on more than a few occasions. Do you remember when this first started to happen? And what happened with Cuomo? He said, New York, like 75% of the cases are coming from New York. Maybe we should limit travel to and from New York, that you can't leave there right now. What did Cuomo say? Well, that's threatening war against the states. Shows you the politics of this thing. Absolutely, the politics of it all. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program as well. I'm telling you guys, it amazes me to listen to the insanity on both sides. The want from one side to have Trump get his comeuppance and to be really sick and or potentially die as a ha-ha. And the other side to want Trump to spike the ball in their face saying there's nothing to worry about. We're playing politics with the human being's health the way that everybody says that both sides are playing with it. Anyways, and that's not who we are. Is that who we are? I don't think that's who we are. I think we're better than that. I think the most of us are. I think there are clowns out there that aren't. I think most of us are. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, The Chad Benson Show is your Facebook page. Go like it there and check out Chad Benson Show TV on the YouTube. The Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He knows the nightly newscasts are on right now. He knows all the cable
there he is. There's the president, Brian. He's obviously stopping again, giving another thumbs up. Get aboard Marine One. We're going to try to watch as much of this as we can. Brian, go ahead.
It's not a real show of strength, but it's a performative show of strength. This is what strongmen do in autocratic regimes. Of course, thankfully, we are in a democracy, but this is the kind of thing you see from strongmen who want to appear to be leading. It's a dear leader sort of approach, and I think that is what we are seeing on our television screen.
I don't even know what you say to Brian Stelter anymore. Is that what's happening? So he shows up, and so you don't want the president to look strong? You don't want him to be a leader? Well, he's a dear leader. Why is he a dear leader? You're not looking for that? That's what you should be looking for. Rather than going, wow, it's kind of miraculous that a 74-year-old who's got COVID went into the hospital on a Friday and has come out on a Monday, and he seems to be, oh, no, but look at the way he's breathing. Okay, I'm looking at it. 74-year-old just kind of, wandered up some steps. Oh, this is the Mussolini. This is what it is. I'm like, have you lost the plot even more than I thought you have? Have you lost the plot? Who are you playing to? What Trader Joe's suburban woman are you playing to that thinks, oh my God, he's totally like Mussolini, who you couldn't even pick out of a lineup? I'm curious. Tell me how he's Mussolini. Tell me how he's the dear leader. Because he fights with the press? Yeah, I think it's asinine and stupid. Does he shut him down? No. Trust me, dear leader, wouldn't have took this. Mussolini wouldn't have took this. So when you go and you make that insane comparison, you sound like a bumbling fool. Don't worry, we're just getting started with Brian.
Meanwhile, there are big questions about the cover-up. Why won't they tell us about his testing history, when he was tested? We've moved from this possibly being a cover-up to actually being a cover-up. And whether the president's at Walter Reed or back at the White House, reporters are going to keep demanding answers to those questions.
Of course they are, Brian. It's insane. It's insane. They all went off the rails. But that's what we've allowed this to happen by living inside echo chambers and then going and finding the information that we want that affirms our beliefs. I get it all yesterday. It's like how hard I was on Trump. You're just total left-wing, communistic psycho. And people are going off, and I just start laughing. I'm like, so Trump can do no wrong? No. That you're a believer. That's what you are. You're not a voter. You're a believer. Heard somebody yesterday scream out, I would die for the president. I would die for this man. Let me tell you what I'm not going to do. Die for a politician. I'll die for an ideal. I'll die for the country. I'll die for the Constitution, but I'm not dying for a politician. Listen, you're not interested in ideals. You're interested in Trump. But the left lost the plot yesterday. They want this to be some sort of great karma that hurts him or potentially kills him because somehow they will have a ha-ha. Because if he survives this with ease, it's going to make us look bad. We don't want that. We don't want that. Instead, we want him to get really sick. We want him to go into the hospital. Look, he may go back in the hospital. There's that possibility that he ends up back in the hospital. But listen to him.
The virus is the truth. The virus doesn't care about left and right. The virus does what's reasonable. You give me a chance, I'll spread. You keep away from me, you don't give me a chance, I run out of hosts, I die. I am the truth. If you're doing the right thing, you don't see me that much. If you're doing the wrong thing, you do. The White House is literally what we fear the most, a rash of contagion called a cluster. You want a metaphor? You've got a president who is a drunk driver who is pushing others to drive drunk. That's what he is. Do I want to see a drunk driver get hurt? Hell no. But I worry more about the people he hits.
Is that what this is? Is that's your analogy you've thrown out there? Do you wear a mask, Chad? I do wear a mask. Absolutely. I wear a mask because the places I work, they ask me to wear a mask. I'm in a studio right now by myself. Rarely in the mornings or in the afternoons do I see people until I do my other show. And guess what? When I do my other show, I'm around a bunch of people and I wear a mask until we're inside of our office and we do our thing and we're on the air, we do our stuff. It's just about respect. Look, if this makes you feel better, I respect that. I don't want to get sick and I don't want to give it to somebody else. It's about respect. But when you turn it into a political thing and we lose the plot, which we have, and then we say stuff like, he's like a drunk driver telling everybody to drink. Whatever happened to, like, if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you do it? That's where we are. Look, if you want to go to a rally and you don't want to wear a mask, and they're not going to make you wear a mask, that's on you. Well, they can make other people sick. They could. But they've made that effort to do that. You can do all you can to protect yourself. I can't worry about what somebody else is doing. But this kind of stuff, the living in fear moments are insane. Let's go back again to the living in fear, and you should be afraid. Very afraid.
President Trump wrote on Twitter, "Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life."
Speaking of outrageous, this outrageous tweet.
When I saw that Trump, I literally was overwhelmed.
And now we see this tweet, which is heartless. It is cruel.
This is so disrespectful. I'm not even sure I can speak about this. What does that mean, don't be afraid of it? It's gross.
It's just so horrible, so destructive.
The president says it's no big deal. It's outrageous.
It is insulting to every American who wears a mask. It's disgraceful. It's absurd.
Everyone should be afraid of COVID.
It's okay to be afraid of COVID.
I don't even know what to say anymore. Everybody should be afraid. Everybody should be terrified. Everybody should live in fear. No, you don't. Common sense, wear a mask, wash your hands, do a little social distancing. If you don't feel good, be a little bit more cautious than you normally would in a situation that is not COVID related. It's the simple things. It's common sense. We don't have common sense anymore. Common sense should be called uncommon sense because more and more it is exactly that, uncommon. And for the love of God, we need to stop listening to people like that. Remember what I say. Fear is an emotion. If I can get you terrified, what is the right doing? Fear. Fear of what? You vote for Joe Biden, everything's going to look like Portland. You vote for Joe Biden, basically everything they're learning in school and college campuses is coming out and it's going to destroy your world. That's fear. Trying to get you to... That's not true. I don't for a second think Joe Biden wants that. Now, whether or not he can stop some of the craziness that the left would like to push on him, I don't know. But Joe Biden, and he even said it last night, somebody asked him, are you socialist?
I have taken on the very people that, in fact, we're worried about. I've taken on the Castros of the world. I've taken on the Putins of the world. I've taken on all these dictators. I haven't cozied up to them. I'm the guy that's been straightforward with them. I'm the guy that let them know it stops here. It stops with me. I am no more a socialist than, or a communist than Donald Trump is. Well, I won't say it. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think he's a communist, and I don't think he's a socialist. I think there are people inside of the Democratic Party who would love to push us in that direction, would love to take the wealth that we generated over the years and years and decades and centuries of capitalism, the free market, and hand it out to people and tell them everything's going to be okay. Just turn to government rather than your own self-reliance and responsibility, and that'll keep you happy. And by the way, there's a reason you're struggling, for all the other leads you have in the polls, there's a reason you're struggling in Florida. Because your taking on of Cuba looked like Obama going there and having some sort of relations with Cuba. And that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, especially people who fled for their lives in a refrigerator or a wooden boat. So there are issues there. But I don't think he's a communist or a socialist. But that's the way the fear works. If I can get an emotion out of you, what can I do? I get emotions out of people all the time. Why? Because I come out here and I'm going to throw common sense at you. I'm going to look at everything and I'm going to read all sides of everything that I have available to me, every bit of data, all of this stuff. And this stuff is fluid and sometimes it changes. And, again, misinformation, disinformation, two separate things. In misinformation, you may have 70% of something. Disinformation is, I know this is a lie and I'm going to put it out there anyways. I'm not here for that. I'm going to give you everything I possibly can, all sides, and I'm going to give you my opinion. Both sides use emotion because emotion works. Greatest sales tool in the world. When I was a broker, oh my God, we used it all the time. Well, what's this guy worried about? Well, this person over here, I know he likes greed. So if I can paint the picture, his mind, his emotion, he's going to run for something. This person here, he's terrified to miss out on something. Fear of missing out. What's the emotion that I can get? That's what it's about. That's what they're doing. They're selling you on something. It is insane. Both sides do it. Hold them accountable. And I get people who yell at me, send me horrible tweets and stuff throughout the day because I have what? I have in some way, shape, or form caused them to have an emotion that pisses them off to the point where they got to tell me how horrible I am. And that usually means that something in there didn't jive with what they believe or want to believe, and that maybe it touched a nerve. I'm not always going to be right. Hell no. Sometimes I'll get it wrong. That makes me human. But I tell you what, this thing, the way that we're taking this thing on, if we fought half as hard against this as we do with each other and being right, wow, it's the stuff we could get done. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Car Shield, 800-CAR, 6000. That's the number you call. Plans start as low as $99 a month. So when you call Car Shield, you tell them exactly what you're looking for. Say, look, I'm worried about X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it is you're worried about the air conditioning and your transmission. Maybe you're worried about the electronics in your car. They'll get you sorted out, something that will protect you from covered repairs as well as your wallet and your bank account. What? 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. Speaking of shops, you go and choose the shop. They get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. It's that easy. Check out carshield.com, carshield.com. Use code Benson to save 10%. 800-CAR-6000. 800-CAR-6000. Use that code Benson to save 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Irreverent? Yeah. So what? It's the Chad Benson Show.
The head of Cineworld defending the decision to close movie theaters in the U.S. and U.K. CEO Mookie Gradinger says without blockbuster Hollywood movies to show, he had no choice.
We were bleeding much bigger amounts when we are open than when we are closed because we'll be like a grocery shop with no food.
The move comes after the upcoming James Bond film No Time to Die was moved from November to April of next year. Cineworld owns Regal Cinemas in the U.S., the second largest chain. Theaters will shut down this week with no planned date to reopen.
First of all, could we just say, Mookie, what a cool name for a CEO. Moshe Mookie Joseph Griniger. Cineworld, Regal. I was talking to my uncle last night. He's like, he was excited. He went and saw a movie the other day. He went and saw Tenet. Said it was awful. Said his wife and him walked out of it like an hour and a half into it. Said it's like Back to the Future, but not as cool. But there is no movies coming out. So it's hard. I mean, what do you expect them to do? Could you imagine saying, all right, here's the deal. We're going to open up our gym, but all you're allowed to use is the Jack LaLanne thing where you used to stand there and it would shake you. And one weight from the 60s. Like that's kind of what's going on right now at these places. There's just, they're re-showing Jaws and they re-released this. I think they're getting ready to Alita Battle Angel, which I love. They're getting ready to re-release that. But there's just nothing going on. And if you don't have fresh movies, what I would do if I was a smaller theater chain is maybe I go out and find some independent movies out there that are playing that may be very interesting, and I just splash them everywhere. Now's your chance to take advantage of technology and run with it. Not a bad idea. But at the end of the day, I don't blame places if you've got no product. That's just silly. And it sucks because I continue to tell the one thing out of all of this that I miss is movies. I do miss the movie thing. That's the one thing I'm not doing that I normally did. And people say, well, how is that? Because I'm not, I haven't eaten out that much. I normally don't go to restaurants. I swing by and grab something to eat, or once in a great while will. But I did go see about 30 movies a year. And so far this year, I've seen one. And that's a struggle for me. Like, that's it. But the rest of the time, like the social distancing, people really want to know, Chad, what's it really like with you and your social distancing? You joke. I go home at night, hang out with the family, get up at 2 or 3 in the morning, get into work till late at night, and on the weekends, I'm home, hang out with the family, and I'll play golf 99 times out of 100. It's by myself. And then I have my lizards. That's my life. I do not. That's COVID, Ebola. It's like whatever disease, whatever virus, whatever, that would be, because I've always loved doing that. I've always been totally comfortable just kind of being me by myself. But the movie side, that's driven me crazy. It really has. Because, man, I was getting excited. We had a new Halloween coming out. We had all of these movies that just didn't come out. And I saw today, was that you, Producer Phil, or Producer Anthony, that sent me The Batman thing?
That was Anthony.
Nuts. Yeah, that is crazy. So Batman was supposed to come out. Now it's not coming out for 2 years. Crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter, your Instagram. Tweet along. Follow along. Again, craziness, chaos. I love listening to them lose their minds when it comes to Trump. Trump lives rent-free in their brains. And every once in a while, it just shows you the insanity that's out there. Trump deserves a lot of criticism. But you can't tell me that some of the way that some of these people are acting in the media is normal.
But keep in mind, this is not just the president returning to the White House. This may be patient zero. This is the virus coming back to the White House. And I will tell you, Wolf, having been here all day, it is eerily quiet and empty inside the corridors of the West Wing. With Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary, testing positive for the virus, 2 press assistants testing positive for the virus. They evacuated much of the West Wing.
Evacuate. Patient zero. No fear there. Like, is that how you want your, like if you watch Fox, do you want them to deliver stuff that's insane and over the top? Maybe that's the way that people want to consume it. They want it in terrifying, frightening, quick bites. That's probably why I don't do those shows. Because I would be like, are you guys stupid? No, we can't have Chad back. He insulted us. Yeah. All of you deserve insults. All of you. All sides. My God. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This is like the president says. He's a wartime president. This is like when the general gets wounded by the invisible enemy, goes and gets patched up, and then gets right back to the front line fighting this invisible enemy. I expect him to give a big speech to the nation. I think the speech should be humble and empathetic, and I think he should say and acknowledge that he was scared when he was diagnosed.
Jesse Waters. First of all, here's the difference between what he just said there and what the crazy media on the left are saying. Because both sides can be crazy. He said he should be humble, empathetic, and say he was scared. Now, is he a wartime president? He's pitched himself that way. Have we lost a lot of people? Yeah, 200,000+. Too many. Too many. But here's the different reaction from the people whose hair is always on fire because they have a disdain for Trump. And they're the only people that even if there was a broken clock in their house and Trump happened to be that clock, that not even twice a day would he be on time or right.
President Trump wrote on Twitter, "Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life."
Speaking of outrageous, this outrageous tweet.
When I saw that Trump, I literally was overwhelmed.
And now we see this tweet, which is heartless. It is cruel.
This is so disrespectful. I'm not even sure I can speak about this. What does that mean, don't be afraid of it? It's gross.
It's just so horrible, so destructive.
The president says it's no big deal. It's outrageous.
It is insulting to every American who wears a mask. It's disgraceful. It's absurd.
Everyone should be afraid of COVID.
It's okay to be afraid of COVID.
So let me get this right. You would enjoy if the world was terrified of it to the point where it feels like you're first of all, your hair's on fire. Secondly, you're telling everybody, be terrified, be afraid, be cautious and common sense. That's it. We all take calculated risk. Here's what we know. It affects certain groups far worse than others. If we go by the data that the World Health Organization has thrown out there, and it's a big if, because they're a bunch of idiots, then this is a little bit more dangerous than the flu. The difference is the wide reach of it, so the numbers look bigger. If we go by that data, again, big if, it's the World Health Organization. The whole thought process, though, of be terrified, live in fear, don't ever live in anything but absolute terrified fear. No. Say, you know what, my grandma's 93. I'm going to choose to sit this one out, guys, because she lives with me, and I got to do everything I can to protect her. Common sense, right? Grandma's a risk. She's 93. How about this? Hey, you're obese, you've got diabetes and some underlying conditions, maybe, just maybe, you're playing a little bit more cautious. But common sense. Take some personal responsibility. Well, his flaunting of not wearing a mask says, I don't care if he wears a mask. I don't hang out with the guy. And I would wear a mask because I respect everybody else. It's that simple. Well, Chad, you live in this fear. No, I don't. I respect everybody else. That's it. It's not hard. We have this bizarre zero-sum game that we play. We should be open for business. We should be working. We should common sense. And guess what? Yeah, right now, while this thing is currently out there and with the flu season not too far behind, and because we don't want to overwhelm our we can be a little bit more cautious. Is that wrong? Be terrified. Be absolutely terrified. That is insane. As much as Trump deserved criticism from the day before, and he did, and you may love Trump, and you're one of these people that you didn't vote for Trump, you've laid an allegiance down for him, and if Trump goes away, you're not staying in the world of politics. You're gone, because it's not about the vote, it's not about politics, it's about Trump with you. It's different. That person's. I'm talking to the average person who's voted for Trump. You can be honest with yourself. It's okay to criticize, especially if you vote for him. You should want to hold the people that you put in position as accountable, even more so, because you go, I expect better out of you. But this was insane. It was. And they continue to do stuff like this, and you continue to go, this is the media that we get. We find the niche parts of the things that will absolutely back up our belief system. We want affirmation, not information, and then we freak out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. All of that being said, all of this craziness, the super spreader they think came from the Amy Coney Barrett press conference, which it may or may not have. I don't know. And all that being said, she's still out there. She's still nominated. And they're still doing everything they can to get her into position.
How do you make the case that the hearing should go forward?
Well, I think it's critical that it go forward, and it's going to. It's no surprise Chuck Schumer is opposing it. He was opposing it before, and he would oppose any Republican nominee. But we have an obligation to fill this vacancy. This is why President Trump was elected, to nominate principled constitutionalists to the court. And it's why the American people elected a Republican majority in the Senate, is to confirm those principled constitutionalists.
And this is your chance, because the reality is we're less than a month away. It's not looking great for them to hold on to the Senate. The House may get a little bit stronger to the blue side of the aisle. In the presidency, well, if you're to believe polls, and I don't like the poll side of things. I don't know if I believe the polls as far as they are apart, but I do believe Biden right now is in the lead. But I think that is going to close over the coming 2-3 weeks. And I think it'll be much closer than the experts predict. And people say, well, if it's held today. Well, I get that. If it was held today, Biden would win. But here's the thing. It's not held today. It's not. The Democrats are doing everything they can to, and hope and pray that COVID is the reason why there isn't going to be a hearing and a confirmation. I still think at the end of the day, no matter how hard you pray and wish, Amy Coney Barrett is going to be a Supreme Court justice, barring something absolutely insane, which may happen. We are in 2020.
I'm confident that Judge Barrett will be confirmed by the end of the month before Election Day, so that we ensure we have a full 9-justice Supreme Court available to resolve any election disputes that could come of this.
And there's going to be some. Let's not pretend that there's not. The only way that there are no election issues, the only way that doesn't happen, I'm going to paint two pictures for you. The first picture is crazy chaos in election time. Trump, the Red Mirage. He wins on that night, that Tuesday night. He wins pretty decently, but we're not quite there yet because we have a lot of absentee ballots and mail-in ballots. By Sunday, the Democrats claim, okay, Joe Biden's won. Then the lawsuits come large. And that's when the battle begins. And the difference is how do we do this? Because remember, Gore, Bush, totally different. It was one state, was one issue, was hanging chads. This is going to be much different. You're going to have multiple states involved. The second thing that would make this so the fight isn't there, on that night, Trump loses. On the night Trump loses, then there's not going to be any issue. There won't be. Because everybody kind of, all the experts, even people in Trump's camp, are expecting him to win the night of, but they're not expecting him to be the leader come Sunday night. But if somehow Joe happens to be pushed ahead, if somehow Joe happens to be in the lead on that Tuesday night and he is in the lead and you realize that it's over, then I think at that point in time, the writing's on the wall. But we have a long way to go. We have an absolute long way to go. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. And those debates, we got tomorrow night's debates. But will we have a debate next week?
Trump is promising to be back on the trail soon. His team saying he intends to be at the next debate, set for October 15th, exactly 2 weeks after he tested positive. Biden says it should be up to the medical experts.
The scientists say that it's safe and the distances are safe, then I think that's fine.
But first, it's their running mate's turn. Despite health concerns, the face-off between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence is still on for tomorrow night.
Can I ask the question of why we're doing it in Utah? Both of you guys live in D.C. Is there any reason why we're doing this in Utah at all? Why aren't we just doing it there? There's no reason to go across the country at this point. We're in a different world at this point. So we make do with what we have, and we have the debate. I don't know. Just spitballing here. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Tweet at us. Raycon's best earbuds around. Wear mine all the time when I'm working out, especially when I'm playing golf or kicking the soccer ball around or whatever it is I'm doing. And also today I've got a bunch of Zoom, video conference meetings that I've got to do. And I throw my Raycons in, and guess what happens? I can hear them. They can hear me. I don't have to worry about any of that craziness, this nice noise isolating fit. 6 hours of talk time, seamless Bluetooth pairing, and so much more. You will love these. Price point, incredible. Normally something like these costs you a couple $100, and you're still getting the stems and the wires, and they're dangling. You don't want that. You're pushing them in all the time. No, these start well under $100. These E25s are amazing. Get yours now. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. You're going to save 15% on top of that. Already well under $100, and I'm saving you 15%. Yeah, best earbuds for less than $75, somewhere around in there. You want these. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? All right, let's start in the magical world of Twitter, where everybody hates each other, where we've given a voice to Not the voiceless, but usually just the angry and stupid. Yeah. Oh, my God. All right, let's see here. Chris Cuomo, we've already heard from him and his insanity. Morning Joe is trending. Why? Well, usually they must have said something horrible. All you can predict every day what they've done. Trump lied. 213,367 died. It's Morning Joe. That's their rhyme. She's 15. Kellyanne Conway's daughter is rebelling, I guess. It's funny because she hates Trump, called him white supremacist, and flipped off the camera on TikTok. And everybody's like, ah! And at the other side, she also hates her dad. So she sounds like a 15-year-old girl. I'm not going to make her life something. Tommy Lauren. Everybody's mad at her. Why? Because Tommy said something. Might as well carry a purse with the mask, Joe. And people are like, oh, my God. Can't believe she said that. Really? You can't believe she said that? Of all the do you not follow politics in today's world? Texas police officer was arrested on suspicion of murder in the fatal shooting of Jonathan Price. We're going to touch on this a little bit later. Head on over to Google and you find out the world is much different. Major League Baseball is trending. Rudy Giuliani in his coughing fit last night as he attacked Biden. Packers, Patriots. I watched the Patriots game last night. I was a little upset. Why? First of all, they don't have their quarterback. And no, I'm not talking about the one that is lighting it up in Tampa Bay. I'm talking about the other one who's got COVID. And they played awful last night. And they had more than a few chances. I didn't think they were going to win the game, but they looked ugly. Big time. Jay Balvin follows Travis Scott with his own McDonald's meal. So if you didn't know about this, you didn't see Travis Scott had a McDonald's like Happy Meal thing that was like $90 or something ridiculous. Well, now it's the new thing. So the Magenti singer, and it's got its go-to order. It includes a Big Mac, fries, and an Oreo McFlurry. So you can get that now. It's insane. But you go here and it's funny because like what's over here? Like the difference between Twitter. Twitter is what? It's mostly politics. It's a lot of fighting and arguing with a few other things. You look over in Google search and you look at how many people are searching X, Y, and Z because something's trending doesn't mean it has the same kind of things. I mean, yesterday, the Patriots and Packers had 2 million searches. The Patriots had 1 million searchers. Trump Twitter and Kayleigh McEnany, between the two, they had 1 million. That just shows you we think that everything is politics, and it's not. Like I was talking to my son last night, and we were having a debate because he doesn't like the Patriots. He doesn't hate the Patriots, but his debate is he liked Tom Brady, and he liked Gronk, so he likes Tampa Bay now. And everybody's like, you know, I was chatting with some people, and like, well, I can't believe that. I said, well, I can nowadays, because nowadays, with social media, it's about the individual. Teams... And because players leave teams so fast and they're here or there and you've got salary caps and you can't hold on to players forever and do the things you used to do back in the day, people become attached to players. Now, you may love the team that you grew up rooting for in your hometown, but they love players more. So, like people who love LeBron like the Lakers now because of LeBron. People who didn't hate the Lakers but hate LeBron hate the Lakers now. It's that kind of thing because we're more focused on the individual player. I get it. Trust me. I mean, you know, you're not getting that player very rarely that plays 15, 20 years in the same place. If Messi leaves Barcelona, guess what? People will love wherever he goes because they love Messi. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. A BB gun causing issues? Of course, because why not? It's COVID, right? It's 2020. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Just welcome to the land of confusion. Do any of you not get what's happening?
First of all, I kind of like that song, Land of Confusion. You guys like that song? It was Genesis, right, if I'm correct? More poppy.
You're correct.
We're living in a land of confusion. And I do believe there was a political slant in that, too. I believe there was the puppets that were involved, which was Thatcher, Reagan, I think Gorbachev. It was very interesting. I'm sorry, Mr. Cuomo, who, by the way, himself, let's not forget, as he sits here and hammers the president, take his bike ride. Did he not do that? Did he not bike ride everywhere with his illness and talk about seeing his dead father in the corner, or grandfather, or cousin, or uncle, or aunt? I just want to remember if that's the same, or is this a new Cuomo?
Just welcome to the land of confusion. Do any of you not get what's happening? I know you go to your respective partisan corners, especially at this time of night. Tell me why I'm right to hate him. Tell me why I'm right to love him. Does anybody really need to tell you anything? There he is, hair blown majestically, reshooting the scene for his own ad. I hold rallies, and I tell you to ignore masks, and I rip mine off as I vanquish the virus because I am a leader. Fear not, COVID. What a bunch of bullshit.
He's fun. He's awful, but he's fun. I rip the mask off, rising from the ashes. This is who I am! Excalibur! Enough. That was just a few of the crazy things. Let's talk about Mussolini, because of course. Because yes. Because 2020. Because COVID.
This is a Mussolini moment. Donald Trump, who looks like he has makeup on, which means somebody had to get close enough to make up his face with his favorite orange patina. He's standing there as if he is, a member of the old Russian Tsar family. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I guess it's his sort of discount Bolsonaro, Nira.
Yes. Discount Bolsonaro. Is that what it is? He's Mussolini. Totally. Because Mussolini would have put up with that. Because I'm sure he was great, like all the other dictators are, with what? With criticism. They're fantastic. Like Kim Jong-un, Little Kim, Big Kim, Medium Kim, Chairman Mao, Adolf Hitler, if we're going to throw it in there, Mussolini, Franco, Castro. There's plenty of them. You know what I know? They love criticism. They're like, you know what? I got a thick skin. I can take it. It's the insanity of it all. Because they want you to live in fear. Because fear sells. What does fear get? Fear gets clicks. Fear gets likes, gets shares, conversation, gets people to pay attention. I don't want you to live in fear. I want you to live in, caution in certain situations. If you're outside and you're running around at a park by yourself, you can live free. If you're going to go into a crowded store, wear a mask. It's just common sense caution. Everybody, every day we take calculated risk. I am not going to live in fear. I've said that from day one. I've been more than a vocal supporter of the way that Sweden's gone about doing that. And I will say this. Sweden and a lot of other countries have the advantage of not having 50 states. If you look at Europe like you look at America, everybody there has kind of done their own thing, and some have worked and some have not. Other places where they're seeing a rise have been extremely stringent in the way that they've handled things. Other places that got blamed for their lack of empathy, i.e. Sweden, and the way that they've gone about their light touch, have been spared what everybody's calling the second wave. But there's also places, by the way, several, you look at Scandinavia, some of those Nordic countries and some of those Northern European countries, they haven't had the mask mandate. Even though they've been social distancing, they haven't had the mask mandate. But if you look at it like we look, because we're 50 different countries, and we're gonna talk about that and the chaos and the craziness around that. But you look at the way that people do things, and you look at this and the way that things are handled. It's different. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to live in cautious ways, using common sense to take calculated risk when I need to. And by the way, we take calculated risk every day. Driving to work is a calculated risk. Getting on an airplane is a calculated risk. Everybody takes a calculated risk. This, every day, is a calculated risk. I could go into a place where there's a bunch of people that I do not know who are all singing and dancing and doing stuff, but I'm young and healthy, and the risk is, even if I get this, I'll be fine. Or you could say, I'm a bartender, I'm 55 or 60, I have underlying conditions, and I don't want to take that risk. It's calculated risk. We wish we didn't have to, but we do at this moment in time. But to listen to the hair on fire, I don't know how people do it. I don't. Like, do you wake up every day? It's like, all right, what do I hate him for today? And I love watching the people flip out and lose their mind over stuff, right? Like, so wait a minute. Trump goes to a rally, and he has this rally, and everybody's like, he's evil and bad. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, whatever, rally here, rally there, rally everywhere, where. They're out there, and nobody seems to care. The protesters in front of the White House the other day, screaming and yelling, getting into police officers' faces, getting into the Secret Service's faces. That nobody cares about that. And that's the politics of it all. It's the politics of whether or not we want Trump to survive or for him to beat this thing. Why? Because realistically, you don't really care about Trump. Well, you may love him as a president, but, you want the, I got one over on you. My team won. Look how wimpy you are. You wear a mask. Or you want the karma to say, ha-ha, your guy got sick and he's in the hospital and he may die. Ha-ha, should have took it more serious. Stupid. You get it. You're smart. Most of you are independent thinking. Some of you are a little super right, super left, but most of you are like, yeah. You know what I like? You know, it's a good tweet to me. Hey, Chad, I disagree with you, but I like listening to your show. Okay. We're not going to agree on everything. By the way, you should never agree on everything with anybody. Do you do that with your wife, your boss, your husband, your boyfriend, your mom, your dad, your friends? No. We should have disagreements. That's what makes it great that we live in a country where we can't have disagreements. Trump has more than a few times flubbed his lines with this. He's also gotten some things right that people overlook and ignore. We've allowed the media to take us down a path where they want you to be terrified because it's good for their business and it's bad for Trump. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Many of you are homeschooling your children. My son Jack is being homeschooled. Kids are being homeschooled. Well, it's really weird. Here's Jack's homeschooling. So I have a son that's 10, if you're new to the show. I have to pay for him to go to school that he goes to so he can do his homeschooling from there with tutors so he can be around his friends at his school. Okay, let me walk you through that again. He has a school that is closed because of COVID. But it is open for a price so he can go there and see his friends and do his schoolwork from there. That's where we are. But for a lot of kids, they're home. And we've heard about this on more than a few occasions. This one's extra special, about a young boy and a BB gun and a Zoom call.
9-year-old Kamari Harrison is a fourth grader at Woodmere Elementary, and this year Kamari's a virtual learner, so his classroom is also his bedroom. The school suspended Kamari for violating a federal weapons law. Kamari was taking a test on the computer when his dad says Kamari's brother walked into the room and tripped over Kamari's BB gun.
Kamari picked it up and moved it out the way. When he moved it, picked it up briefly, set it on the other side of him. Like we can't have no privacy in the house, and whatnot.
That's his dad. Nairon. So, picture this. Kid tripped over, I'm going to move the gun. The BB gun. So, 2-3 weeks ago, what were we talking about? Parents get the cops called on their child. I mean, the school calls the cops on their their child. The parents are like, why didn't you call us? Because they had a zombie killer Nerf gun thingy in the house with the orange tip. It looked stupid, said zombie killer on it. Like, that's just insane. This is a whole new level of insanity.
According to the paperwork from his expulsion hearing, the teacher's account of what happened matches.
Wait. Did you say expulsion hearing?
According to the paperwork from his expulsion hearing, the teacher's account of what happened matches Kamari's. She stated he placed it on the side of his chair so that we could only see the barrel.
She had an obligation to report this to the principal, but her obligation ended there. And from there is when everything went awry.
Harrison's attorney, Chelsea Cusimano, attended Kamari's hearing.
The policies in place are so robotic in nature to apply to guns on campus that they went into this school year without any policy or procedure to handle how to handle the privacy of someone's own home.
Yeah. Which is, what if I'm doing it in, the kitchen? So I'm inside the kitchen and my dad walks by and he's going to go hunting. He's got a gun. Or I'm in the front room and, I don't think anything. I'm just sitting where I'm comfortable, but behind you could see a gun case. Well, you're in trouble for that. Why am I in trouble for that? Nuance is lost. Everything is black and white. Does the teacher have an obligation? What happened to the obligation of calling the parents if you're that unsure and saying, hey, I know it's something stupid. I just want to make sure because, we got to follow these rules and go from there. Like, what happened to that? Well, it's lost in this day and age.
The Jefferson Parish school system pointed to its online policies, stating in part, illegal carrying, possession, or use of a firearm or dangerous weapon within the boundaries of school property or on a school bus is a crime.
This is a privacy issue. Not only is this a due process issue and a breach of contract issue and an intentional infliction of emotional distress on a 9-year-old issue, it's a Second Amendment right to bear arms issue.
And it's a BB gun. At the end of the day, it is a BB gun. And I'm not on your school property. I'm at my house. So this is my house. We have serious issues here. I'm looking at amendments, and I'm thinking we got a few issues. And that's one of the big things they talk about, even with cops having cams. Going in for something else, seeing something else on the camera, and all of a sudden, I'm telling you, this is insane. We've also lost the plot of nuance and common sense where I call somebody and go, hey, parent, your kid's a good kid. I saw something. I wouldn't even have done that. I think most of you would have been like, I'm just moving, let's just get on with our lives. But not anymore.
The weapons violation is now a part of Kamari's permanent public school record.
It's going to follow him, going to college and whatnot, picking colleges, and whatnot.
This is a prejudgment of a 9-year-old that is going to impact his educational career for the rest of his life.
And is asinine and stupid. And Kamari, you take every one of these people that are sticking up for you today, every single one of these people on the news that's falling around, if that thing happens to stick with you, and it shouldn't because it is asinine, it is stupid, it is awful. Nuance, common sense, it's all lost its way here. Welcome to the world of uncommon common sense. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. CarShield, love CarShield. 24/7 roadside assistance. A rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose the shop. They get them paid directly. Whether your car's newer and you've got the electronics, you're worried about that. You got some aftermarket stuff inside of there. Or whether your car's a little bit older. Average car is about 11 years on the road right now. And so maybe you're worried about the transmission, the engine. CarShield is a plan that's right for you with a budget that fits your budget, protecting you from covered repairs and protecting your bank account. Rates start as low as $99 a month. Call 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson to save 10%. You get 24/7 roadside assistance. That rental car is huge because when I took my car in, I got a rental car. It's no big deal. And they pay them directly, which is great. And you get to take it to the shop. That's a win. Pay a small deductible. 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson. Or go to carshield.com, carshield.com. Save yourself 10%. Use that code Benson. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
If you like talk radio like Chad Benson likes his meals, you've come to the perfect place for takeout.
The Supreme Court not buying into the copyright battle over Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. The High Court has declined to hear the case over the band's biggest hit. In 2014, the estate of late Spirit frontman Randy California sued, saying Stairway was a ripoff of Spirit's Taurus. A 2016 trial found there was no copyright infringement. An appeals court upheld that ruling this year. Now that the Supreme Court has said no to the case, the lower court ruling stands and the whole thing is over.
It's over now. His name was Randy California. Do you think that's a stage name? I'm going to go with it's a stage name. What was Michael Vick? Was it Ron Mexico? Still the best one ever. What's your name, sir? Ron Mexico. I don't think it is. You look familiar. Yeah, no, it's Ron Mexico. So, no to that. Although there was I heard a little bit of it. It sounds very similar. Look, you know how they would have won? And I'm going to say this, and I want you guys to really understand this. If Marvin Gaye's family says that you stole something, you should just pay them. Because otherwise you are screwed. Just letting you know that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Trump out of the hospital. I have a video. You can check it out. Chad Benson Show TV and Instagram and YouTube and everything. And I said, just the insanity of the way that people, they want like this comeuppance. And people are like, oh, do you want a job in the administration? No. I said the day before I criticized him, and you were fine with it. And today I stick up for him because I think the media's you should be afraid, very afraid kind of thing. It was, you know what it reminded me? I was listening to the craziness of the media. It was like Taken. Liam Neeson picks up the phone, and he's like, I don't know who you are or what you want, but I have a special set of skills. COVID will find you. It will get you, and you should be afraid. It was stupid. It was absolutely dumb. It was asinine, the way that they treated it. But you can't have, and this is the thing that we need to stop doing, you can be critical of somebody you support, as you should be, and supportive and of when he does something right, or when he gets criticized for something that he shouldn't be criticized for. And that's life. I'm critical of my son Jack when he does dumb things. And when I do something stupid, trust me, you guys tell me. But we've gotten to the point now where only the other side is bad. Where nobody deserves any credit about anything. Where only opinion that is right is the opinion that I believe. And that is just so silly. We got to stop getting it. It's not a zero-sum game, and it's not an all or nothing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Chad Benson Show TV is the YouTube. The Chad Benson Show is on the old Facebook there. Check that out. Go like it. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He knows the nightly newscasts are on right now. He knows all the cable
there
channels
he
are
is.
watching.
There's the president, Brian. He's obviously stopping again, giving another thumbs up. Get aboard Marine One. We're going to try to watch as much of this as we can. Brian, go ahead.
It's not a real show of strength, but it's a performative show of strength. This is what strongmen do in an autocratic regime.
Can we all agree Brian Stelter is kind of an idiot? We can agree, right? I mean, he's the guy that when you're somewhere and something goes wrong is the ultimate panic. Like everything. He's just panic. overblown, super panic. Like, if you had to defuse a bomb, don't have Brian next to you. He's super panic. Have you seen Aliens? He's Bill Paxton. We're all going to die, man. That's Brian. Like, everything is panic. It's overblown. It's the biggest. It's crazy.
Of course, thankfully, we are in a democracy, but this is the kind of thing you see from strongmen who want to appear to be leading. It's a dear leader sort of approach.
Is that what
and I think that is what we are seeing on our television screens.
You're an idiot. Sorry. First of all, you've got other people saying Trump's like Mussolini. So, I'm just curious, Brian. I'm going to ask you curiously. As a person who's pretty objective, I've criticized Trump for the way he's handled COVID. I've criticized Trump at times for not being empathetic. I've criticized Trump for his little drive around the other day at the old Walter Reed. You wanted him to be what? You wanted him to come out in a robe and some sort of hospital nightgown with oxygen, appear frail and weak? What's the look that you were going for? Not the thumbs up, not to look strong? I'm curious. We can't celebrate the fact that our president went in the hospital at 74 with high risk factors on a Friday, and Monday he leaves the hospital and he gives you a thumbs up? Is it political theatrics? Hell yes, it's political theatrics. Welcome to all that politics is on a daily basis. But I'm just curious about the look that you were going for. Well, if he could have come out with an IV in his arm, laying there with the sheet over his head, oh my God, that would have... Tell me.
Meanwhile, there are big questions about the cover-up. Why won't they tell us about his testing history, when he was tested? We've moved from this possibly being a cover-up to actually being a cover-up. And whether the president's at Walter Reed or back at the White House, reporters are going to keep demanding answers to those questions.
Are they? Awful. Again, if you're next to him at any time when there's anything that's happening that seems to be a little wonky or going sideways, he will be the guy that screams the loudest and panics. When I played soccer at a high level, and we'd have penalty shootouts, to decide a tournament or this, that, and the other, you could always tell the guy who, when he was walking up to take the kick, never wanted. You could just say, that guy's missing. He's terrified. He wants no part of any of this. He wants no part of any of this. And you can always tell the guy that's walking up with a smile on his face and thinking, I'm going to shoot a ball. And if it goes in, great. And if not, I'm going to live my life. It's just amazing. I've never... He's like an autocrat. He's like a dictator from another country. But luckily, we live in a democracy. Trust me, it's just beginning, kids. Let's go to the media. Now, what is the media? Now, I criticize Trump, the way he's handled this at times. He could have done things better. He should have done things better. He should have been a little bit more forthcoming in some of the stuff. Now, not hair on fire. You don't need to tell us everything all the time. You know, I hear Trump's the biggest idiot in the world, yet in March he said, well, this thing's bad. I've talked to them, and it's in the air, but it's not in the air. I don't expect you to tell us everything. Could have been more forthcoming. Absolutely. And about the mask thing, you know what? You should have been better with the mask. I'll say it. Absolutely. You deserve many, many criticisms for the way that you've acted at times on some of this stuff. The poo-pooing it, it'll go away, it's going to be gone by this, some of that stuff, you've as we'd say in English, you flubbed the lines. All that being said, the media's hair on fire. The way that they've overreacted, the way that they've given you half-truths, the way that they've painted this thing as if you get this, what they're going to do the minute you get a confirmation that you have it is they're going to kindly point you over to the mortuary. And you should just start making plans, which is nuts. No, Chad, that's not true. It's not true.
President Trump wrote on Twitter, "Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life."
Speaking of outrageous, this outrageous tweet.
When I saw that Trump, I literally was overwhelmed.
And now we see this tweet, which is heartless. It is cruel.
This is so disrespectful. I'm not even sure I can speak about this. What does that mean, don't be afraid of it? It's gross.
It's just so horrible, so destructive.
The president says it's no big deal. It's outrageous.
It is insulting to every American who wears a mask. It's disgraceful. It's absurd.
Everyone should be afraid of COVID.
It's okay to be afraid of COVID.
First of all, it's insulting to everybody who wears a mask because he took a mask off for a photo op. Here's the thing. If he would have worn a mask, would it have mattered? No, because I've got something else to criticize him. Okay, so that's where I know you're coming from. And I don't care that you criticize him. Go ahead. You're going to criticize him. We expect that. That's the stuff, though, that drives me crazy. I don't care that you dislike Trump. Fantastic. Go ahead. Knock yourself. I don't care if you love Trump. Fantastic. That stuff right there, though, that's the stuff that pisses everybody off, and for good reason. I don't even know what to say. You should be terrified. You should be scared. No, you shouldn't. You should have personal responsibility. Weigh the options of the things that you're going to do. Have some common sense. For God's sakes, it's not the government's job to babysit you. Yesterday we were talking about Redfield, the guy's the head of the CDC, has to put out a chart of what? How to wear a mask correctly. If you don't know how to wear a mask, why is it the government's fault to save you? I was thinking about this on the way in today. I was laughing about it, actually, because just the diagram itself was stupid. But my whole thought process, remember growing up as a kid, right? Now, you guys, the woke people, you guys will understand this. But we used to watch cowboy movies, right? Westerns. And somebody would be wounded, and the bad guys are on they're chasing these guys, and there'd be one guy, and they're like, look, guys, I can't go on. You guys are going to have to go on without me. We don't have that anymore. Now it's like, nope, weakest link, we got to carry you. Sorry, you can't wear a mask. Let me do it for you. Common sense, personal responsibility. Just because you say, hey, I'm going to go for a run and not wear a mask, or I'm going to go for a walk and not wear a mask, or whatever it is, doesn't mean you're an idiot, stupid, and you're a science denier. It just means, look, I'm taking calculated risk with my life. It is insane that we have this. Why? Because they push crap like that. Oh, God. You should be afraid. You should be very afraid. No, you shouldn't. You should not. You should not be very afraid. Because you can control the situations that you're in. You have options in the situations you're in. If your boat sunk in the middle of the ocean and there were sharks circling you, you should be afraid because you don't have any other options. Here, you have an option. Wear a mask, social distance. Choose not to go into certain places. There are lots of things you can do. Personal responsibility. Do you want to live in fear? No, nor should you. You should never live in fear. Know exactly what it is you're facing, which we do better and better every single day. But to listen to that, as much as they say Trump is a disservice and is bad to people who wear masks or whatever BS that Gloria Borger was pushing there, whatever that was, know that you're like, wait a minute, I got some personal responsibility. Like for me, I'm not going to church. I watch it from home. I'm not doing that. And I said if I was going to go to church, I would go in after the singing. Why? Well, because it's not. I don't want to be in a bunch of room with a bunch of people at this moment in time. I'm doing it because why? Because I love what I do, but also I respect my coworkers, and I don't want to put them at risk for anything. It's common sense. It's not hard. But if you want to go to church, fantastic. Personal responsibility. Somewhere along the line, we've lost that. Common sense. Somewhere along the line, we have completely lost that. But to listen to that fear-mongering, as bad as you say Trump is, that right there is an absolute joke. It is. 110% joke. I don't even, where are you going with that? Who are you trying to scare? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can take it serious, and you can say cautiously, I know the risk, and these are the risks that I'm willing to take at this moment in time. No. Yeah, it's called personal responsibility. And some people aren't personally responsible, and therein lies some of the problem. But that right there, the terrified, you should be terrified, I can't even answer this, this is disgusting and vile. Good God. My God. My pillow. Sleep better every night, I do. And my pillow, got my sheets, got my towels. Last night, sat in a jacuzzi for a little while. Got out of it, had my beautiful towels. Love my pillow. They have everything. They have a BOGO going on. Buy one, get one free. So you buy a towel, right? A towel set, you get another towel set free. You buy a MyPillow, you get another MyPillow free. You buy a Stow and Go Anywhere pillow, you get another one free. See where I'm going with this? Giza sheets, buy one, get one free. 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Made in the USA. Absolutely love it. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Benson, and you take advantage of that. On the way out, order Mike Lindell's book about his life. Very interesting book. Talk about somebody who fell and then rose again. You order that book. He's going to ship everything for free and give you a $25 gift card towards your next purchase. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
You stink like fear and white male privilege to me.
I do often out myself verbally as a gender. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm proud to be a gender.
Are you stupid? What? Are you kidding me?
Not a great way to use your white privilege.
Some people get it, some people don't.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
In Utah, Kamala Harris and Mike Pence will be 12 feet apart, separated by plexiglass, and this time organizers say if anybody in the audience refuses to wear a mask, as some members of the Trump family reportedly did at the last debate, they will be escorted out. The Commission on Presidential Debates tightening the rules after last week.
Yeah, as they should. Let's just do the smart thing at this moment in time. That's all it is. Look, I don't want government telling me what I can and can't do, all right? I don't. Do you? No. And the problem is the lowest common denominator that we have to protect all the time, the ignorant and the stupid, the people who deny, and both sides deny. One side denies that this thing is real. The other side denies that it's not as deadly as the media makes it out to be. It's nuts. It is. So, you know what? They're going to have the plexiglass. They're going to do their thing. And then we're going to have the debate tomorrow night. And we'll see what it looks like and how it works out. Trump said today, I'll be debating next week in Miami. Okay. So a long way away with COVID. But do I think Trump will be there? He says he's going to be there. Think about this. Producer Anthony and I talked about this before the show today. So 1 week ago, that weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, coming into Monday, tax. Tuesday, debate. Wednesday, debate. Thursday, little bit of that, then all of a sudden, Hope Hicks. And then by Friday, it was, he's got it. He's into the hospital. Here we are now. Tuesday, a week on, we have gone through just insanity for the last week. We are 4 weeks away from today, the election. And what now? Now he's saying, I'm going to be there. You got the debate tomorrow night. And we're discussing whether or not he'll live that long, not live that long. What does he look like? Well, the expert that's here with me, who also can't stand Trump, says that he's gasping for air. The other person over here on Fox, who says the expert here with me, says he looks like he's 20 years younger. He's absolutely right. He's never been stronger. He could probably bench press a house and fight a bear. And the rest of us are going, do any of you buy this? But tomorrow night, they will debate. Is it important? I think it is for Kamala, because there's that thought process that Joe looks a little frail, may not get through the 4 years, even though he says not only is he doing this for 4, he's doing this for 8, and she would be next in line.
We are still seeing this kind of remarkable tone coming from the White House. The vice president's spokesperson, Katie Miller, kind of mocking the Biden team, mocking Kamala Harris for wanting more safety precautions, suggesting that Kamala Harris wants a fortress around her by requesting that they have these plexiglass barriers. Pretty remarkable, especially when you consider that Katie Miller herself had COVID earlier this spring.
Well, she feels that that's what she feels. Look, I'm all for precaution. Then I think there's silliness. Did you see the Lindsey Graham thing? The guy brought his own, he was doing it from an aquarium. Sometimes, and that's the thing. You can mock because sometimes it's ridiculous. It is. Sometimes it is. Both sides. Both sides can be absolutely ridiculous. My biggest question remains when it comes to this is, why the hell are you guys doing this in Utah? Why are you not just going, you know what, we're going to do it from D.C.? Because of all that's going on, it's just a safer bet that we do it here and get that done. Take all of the safety precautions you possibly can and that you need to and go from there. Shouldn't be that hard. And no, you know what? From the optics side, you guys can split them up enough. I don't know if I really want to see super plexiglass and them answering from it. It's going to be like, was it Superman 2? When Superman goes inside that thing? Good times. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
What usually happens is that you get exposed. After a couple of days, the virus replicates in your upper airway, and you can be infective to other people for a day or two before you actually get your symptoms. Once your symptoms come, that's a median of about 5 days is the median time from exposure to the expression of symptoms. And then after a few days, you might be sick, and yet the virus is no longer transmissible. So it's usually before they get symptomatic and for a few days thereafter.
Well, we're what? In theory, Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we're about 5-ish days. Now, I don't know if he had it days before. I couldn't tell you. So is he still contagious? That's the question that a lot of people want to know. Is he walking around and is he still contagious?
The general guidelines are, when is it safe for a person to go out from the time they get symptoms? It's probably around 10 days from the onset of symptoms. You usually have no virus, and in the studies that have been done, those people generally are not at all infective to other people.
So he should be isolating. I got no problems with that. He should be. Shouldn't be around anybody. People are going to be coming in and out. You're the President of the United States. You're not going to go into a room and lock yourself up. People are going to come in and out. You take the precautions, but you shouldn't be out doing anything. You did your little thing last night. You waved. If you need somebody to film you, they can film you. You can take precautions. You're not going to be, in a situation where I'm going to go right up to the president's face. No, you can do the things that you need to do, and the rest of the stuff you can do via, video conference call. Like, you need to give a pep talk to Mike Pence tomorrow. You need to say, Mike Pence, hey, don't be an idiot. We're counting on you not to screw this up. All right? So don't screw this up. Don't jack the pooch tomorrow night. He said, fine. God, you don't be so mean to me. Oh, goodness me. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program as well. Love hearing from everybody. Somebody just text at me. And, look, I love everybody. As long as you're not like an idiot? I'll try to answer as many people as possible. As of last night, you were saying that the Secret Service who rode with the POS, Trump, just wanted 2 weeks off. It was a joke, sarcasm. I'm like, they're probably going, look, if we ride with this guy, we're going to get 2 weeks off. You and I are both going to be fine. We've been exposed. I should go home. That's what I said. Does that sound sarcastic? Anybody? Or did that sound super serial? They said, pick a lane and stay in it. You flip-flop on all sides. I guess you have more viewers. It's not about viewers or listeners. It's about, this is the problem with what goes on in the way that we view politics. Pick a lane. No, here's my belief. My belief is what Trump did and the way that he's acted at times has been asinine and stupid and has really flown in the face of conventional wisdom and science. I also think on the other side of things, having the media try to terrify you 24/7 by saying this thing is leprosy wrapped in Ebola, wrapped in the bubonic plague, served on a platter with the Spanish flu is also a bunch of crap. It's not a zero-sum game. You don't like the president. You called him a POS. You don't like the president. I get it. That's fine. That is great that you don't like the president. Please, vote the way you want to vote. I'm never going to tell you any of those things. What I'm telling you, though, is you view everything as my side's always right, and the other side views it as my side's always right. Well, the exhausted majority, the 70% of us, look around and we say to ourselves, neither of these duopolies, these Coke and Pepsi, because that's kind of what I refer to them as, the Republicans and Democrats are just two corporations, neither of them have a monopoly on good or bad ideas. You know what they do? They do the best they can to make sure that they're taken care of, and the scraps that we give, well, that's good enough for you guys. That's what they do. And both have some good ideas. Both have some bad ideas. It's the way it is. I don't have to pick a lane. My lane is I'm an American, and I want the best for the country. Period. Case closed. I want strong borders, and I want clean air. I want a strong military, and I don't want to be the policeman of the world. I want everybody to be able to have a voice. You can love who you love. Yeah, we should pay fair share, but at the same time, I don't want to be taxed to the hilt. I don't think anybody else does. I mean, these should be common sense stuff. But everybody wants you to pick a singular lane, and that's how you'll be identified. I won't do that. If you want to stay inside of a box, do it. If you want to play the zero-sum game, my way or the highway. Life is trade-offs. That's what it is. I live a good life. You know what my trade-off is? I work 90 hours a week. Work on the weekends. I get up in between 2 and 2:30 every single morning. Tomorrow night, I'm going to get here. Tomorrow morning, I'll get here at 3 and stay all the way through the debate tomorrow night and not leave this building till 10 o'clock. Stay at a hotel, come back. Miss my family. That's the trade-off. And I'm willing to do that. That's a trade-off in life. It's not a zero-sum game. I can call BS out for things like this.
This is a Mussolini moment. Donald Trump, who looks like he has makeup on, which means somebody had to get close enough to make up his face with his favorite orange patina. He's standing there as if he is, a member of the old Russian Tsar family. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I guess it's his sort of discount Bolsonaro, Nira.
Mussolini? Really? Let's go back to the day when the little fascist was in power. And let's just say, Joy Reid, you happen to be a news person. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, you happen to see Mussolini coming out of the hospital for whatever reason. And you happen to make fun of Mussolini on television. What do you think happens at that point? curious as to how Mussolini and the other dictators take to criticism. That's the stuff that you just go, I'm sorry. That's like ridiculous. It's so stupid. And that's what goes on. I call Trump on all the crap. Should have been better at times with COVID. Absolutely. But here's my question with COVID. And what's the thing we hear all the time with Biden? Wear a mask. Okay. That's fine. I'm totally cool with that. So they wear the mask. But we need a mandate. We need all of these things. Last night, he had his MSNBC Lester Holt kind of town hall, as much as it could be. And the mask question came up. And this is the thing. So remember, Trump, bad, evil, should have had a mask mandate, all of these things. Don't worry, when Biden gets in, he's going to have a national mask mandate. It's going to happen, except for one thing. We live in a democratic republic. We live in a republic. We live in a situation where we're one nation, but we're also 50 little nations.
Yeah, I heard you mention this idea of a national mandate.
Yes.
You've mentioned that before for masks, but what power does a president have to make that happen?
I would call all the governors to the White House. Some probably wouldn't come. And I'd call the governors and I'd say to the mayors as well as the county executives, take responsibility. Take responsibility and lay out the guidelines. Look, folks, one of the problems is this president said, I take no responsibility. Well, if it's not his responsibility, he talked about this being like a time of war.
Yeah, and that was bad on Trump. Absolutely bad on Trump. I don't blame Trump for it landing on our shores at all. Do I think he could have been at times better at handling this? Yes. Look, even if you're an ardent supporter of Trump, there's plenty of times. I look back at my life and I think I should have been better here. I could have done better there. Who doesn't? But you heard. Well, now I don't really. I don't like. I can't do that. Like I got to I'm going to invite people to the White House and I'm going to urge them. So I remember at the beginning of all this, I got into my Wayback Machine and I went way back. I do that. And in going to the Wayback Machine, what did I do? I remember that at the beginning of this, when things were being closed down and it was starting to spread nationwide fast, and we were building hospitals outside in the parking lots and in parks across the street, and when all of this was going on, we're all closed down now, how does this work? And Fauci and Redfield and Dr. Birx and all of these people rolled out the phase 1, 2, and 3. Do you remember that? Do you remember the phase 1? Phase 2, Phase 3. Do you remember? Yeah. That was way back. Opening up America. But this is how you go about doing this. This is how you go about doing the things that you do. Opening up. The criteria. The preparedness. The phase guidelines. How you get there. Oh, my goodness. And I remember most of them just did whatever the hell they wanted to do. And they didn't follow any of these phases. So you telling governors and other people this is what you need to do doesn't make it so that it's going to happen. But you heard it right there. Well, there's not a lot I was going to be able to do. Okay. Well, there you go. Look, I'm all for wearing a mask at this moment in time. Trust me, I'm going to be the first one to take that damn thing off and hopefully never have to put one on again. When we get to a point where not only is there a great therapeutic, but with the vaccine, and we can, because I don't want to sit in movies and wear a mask for 2 hours. I don't want to miss church anymore, even though I'm not good at singing, and I think we all know that. But at the same time, at this moment, look, just be responsible. Personal responsibility is huge. Common sense, personal responsibility, and maybe saying to yourself, take a calculated risk here, and it's not really a risk. And watch us get through this. We open up faster. We get back out there, do a lot of things. But when I hear Biden's going to do it so much better, Biden's going to be all these things, and then when they ask him about a national mandate, which seems to be the big thing about masks, he basically says, I can't do that. Okay. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Here's your Twitter. Tweet at me. Text the program. Wounded Paw Project. Amazing organization. Love, love, love them. Incredible organization. They rescue dogs that would be euthanized and train them to be service dogs for veterans, first responders, and their family. The work they do is absolutely incredible. It really is just watching the animals that they save. Because, we talk about the veterans and the first responders and their family. And we talk about the fact that the veterans right now are struggling in so many ways, returning back to normal life, struggling with everything from post-traumatic stress syndrome to injuries they've received. Seeing the animals, though, with them and seeing how it affects their lives is amazing. On top of that, it's not just the veterans, first responders, and their families. It's just incredible. They need your help today. You can give in several different ways. You can give by donation of a vehicle. You get a great tax-deductible gift. You can also give cash, and you can go to smile.amazon.com, set your supporting group up. The money's going to be used to protect, advocate, and train these dogs for veterans, first responders, and their family. Go to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. Check out all of the things that they're doing. Go see the things that they're doing and see the way they rescue these animals. And see the success stories. WoundedPawProject.org. WoundedPawProject.org. Chad Benson Show.
I usually don't get into politics. As an ordinary suburban housewife, I feel a little disrespected. I teach my children not to name call.
You are a blabbermouth!
Come on, man.
Guys, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum?
Chad Benson.
The head of Cineworld defending the decision to close movie theaters in the U.S. and U.K., CEO Mookie Gradinger, says without blockbuster Hollywood movies to show, he had no choice.
We were bleeding much bigger amounts when we are open than when we are closed, because we'll be like a grocery shop with no food.
The move comes after the upcoming James Bond film No Time to Die was moved from November to April of next year. Cineworld owns Regal Cinemas in the U.S., the second largest chain. Theaters will shut down this week with no planned date to reopen.
And it sucks. I have my Regal card in my hand. I have my Regal card. I get my rewards point. I am due. I've got so much because Jack and I went to the movies so many times last year. So my son's 10. We went to the movies. I go to the movies about 30 times a year. We went to the movies so many times when I was down there in San Diego with him that we go to this Regal. I have like 10 free popcorns, a bunch of free movies, and I can't use it. What would I use it for? There's nothing out. There's nothing out. Not a thing is out at this moment in time. Tenet, I don't want to see it. I've heard nothing. My uncle's description of the movie Tenet. It's Back to the Future 2 that's self-important as not as entertaining, and I walked out. That's he lives for that stuff. I was like, ooh. Well, that's not good. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you, even if it's hate. Somebody asked me, what did you think of Trump's recklessness last night? I said, look, him taking the picture last night and taking the mask off so he could wave and take the picture, I don't have a problem with that. You do, but you have a problem with everything he does. Him going back into the place, you should put your mask on. At this moment in time, I think you've been lucky that you haven't caught it sooner. And I think you guys let your guards down. And that is reckless. And people have a right to worry because even though in their mind they know, I'm not really going to get sick and die from this thing, though, most people are thinking that because if you look at the numbers, that backs it up. But you don't want to get sick. And don't be reckless and stupid. And it's reckless and stupid to tell the world every night on your newscast that if you get this thing, that's it, which is baloney. It's not. We should have Common Sense News Network. That should be our new thing. The Common Sense News Network. We're going to give you the news straight out. Look, be smart. Wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance when you can. Take calculated risks. Don't live in fear. Oh, okay. Sounds good. Anything else? No, that's it. There's no politics in that. Take some personal responsibility. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Have a blessed, wonderful day. We'll do it again tomorrow. It is Tuesday, therefore, get some tacos. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.